the other guitar player in the band, he would bring his over. We would play into one and have it facing a foot away from the other one, hitting record, and then we would all sing while it was playing, and that's how we overdubbed our vocals on top of the music. And I still have those recordings.
Yeah, that's pretty genius for a bunch of kids, actually. I mean, it probably sounds rough, but that's pretty smart.
It didn't sound too bad. I mean, no, actually it sounded pretty horrendous.
I mean, a silly question from that. Have you ever thought of producing bands?
Oh, I do. Tons.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I do. That's all I've been doing, like, before G&R.
Okay.
Besides my own stuff, I have this studio in, like, the north end of Princeton, New Jersey. It's this old house that I just gutted and turned into, like, a live-in studio where there's nothing to do there but make music with no distractions, 24/7. And speaking of 24/7, the last album of another band that I recorded there was 24/7 Spy's last album. We cut in there.
Now, what's your take on the new Kiss album, Sonic Boom?
Sonic Boom. It kicked in, and I was like, wow, this reminds me of Rock and Roll Over. This is cool, and listen to it, and it was good. It was good. I like it more than a lot of the newer Kiss albums.
Oh, absolutely.
On the flip side, I heard, them recutting some of the
older tracks.
Yeah, and that to me just didn't have the spark and the fire that the originals did. Like, to me, they just sounded like they didn't have that same heart that was in there.
The chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I felt the same way about the 70s cuts. The 80s cuts, to me, though, it didn't really I didn't get that feeling, whether it's Vinnie Vincent or the new guys, it didn't make a difference to me, but yeah.
But just, the feel of the 70s ones, absolutely. I mean, for me, Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, Dressed to Kill, Alive, Rock and Roll Over, Destroyer, Love Gun, Alive 2, Ace's solo album, and that is it. That's like the best of the best. Although people might laugh at me for this, but I did like The Elder.
Oh, did you?
I did. I mean, I know the story, like, wasn't it supposed to be for a movie? The movie didn't come out, so they released it anyway.
Right.
I thought The Oath was a cool song.
That's another one which is kind of like in the Chinese democracy kind of world, where when you first heard it, you were like, oh, there's a new guy, there's Eric Carr, and blah, 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 and then, 15 years later you go, The Oath is pretty good, and I was pretty good, and, even The World Without Heroes.
Yeah, how often do you get to see Gene Simmons cry on video?
Never.
That's right.
Unless
hopefully never again.
Oh, come on. So at some point, somebody will catch somebody taking money out of his pocket, and
ouch!
He'll be crying, and it'll be such a scene. What's next for you after? What's next?
What is next?
What is next? Did you start rehearsals soon for the next leg of the tour, or?
No, we're just gonna jump right in. We're gonna catch a flight to Brazil and start playing in early March. And after that, hopefully we'll continue to more places around the world. And besides that, maybe I could finally just kick myself in the ass and lay down some ideas for the next solo stuff. Yeah, the last solo album I did, actually 2008 was a pretty good year for getting stuff out. I did the Abnormal, Bumblefoot Abnormal CD in summer. And then in November, Chinese came out. And then in December, I put out this little acoustic EP thing.
Right.
So it's a good album for just busting out music, and yeah.
Any chance we'll see you playing with any other artists anytime soon? I mean, I know you went on tour with Lita Ford last summer. Is there anything else in the works, be it Lita or any other band?
Nothing really planned, and it's so hard to plan without knowing where the G&R tour is definitely going to go. I mean, I've talked to people about doing a few things and a couple of appearances and stuff, but it's always the same. It's like, hey, can you do this in May? It's like, I won't be able to tell you until late April.
Right.
So
I'll tell you May 1st, right. Does that get difficult, though, not being able to know? I mean, do you have any inkling that where they'll say, okay, 2011, we're definitely not touring, or is the plan always sort of in the works and in motion, and you just sort of have to be available all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it?
Yeah, you got to be a fireman in the firehouse, just ready for when the alarm goes off.
That's a good way to put it.
And that's how it is. I mean, it's not out of cruelty or thoughtlessness, or I mean, this is just how the business is. Like, you try and make something happen, and at the last minute, if one piece comes out, it's like Jenga, like one comes out and the thing collapses.
Nice.
So it's, I always use that phrase, all the pieces need to be in place, because that's pretty much how it is. It's like a card house that you're building, and if one piece comes out, it can affect all the pieces around it, which affect all the others, and the whole thing falls to shit.
Yes.
So, and you don't know where it's going to go with all that kind of stuff. It's like, you can be ready to go, we can be ready to go, and then some promoter decides, or someone else decides, or something, and that's just how it is for any band, for anything you're planning, when you're depending on others. So, it's not like GNR is to blame when GNR plans don't happen. It's like, all we can do is try.
That's what I was going to say. A lot of people, throw the blame at Axl, but they seem to forget that it's a big machine. There's a lot of moving parts. It's not just one guy up there. You've got a whole bunch of promoters and venues and security issues, and it's not just one guy. So if it sometimes falls apart, you can't just sort of look at Axl and say, hey.
No, it ain't that simple. I mean, it's beyond what I can comprehend.
Right.
I think the
GNR is beyond.
I think this kind of run we had like 75 people was like our group that was traveling all together. I think that's what it was. I was like, that many people to make this happen.
Wow.
And
it's crazy.
I mean, just looking at the size of the stage, I mean, shit.
Wow. Yeah, a very interesting stage, by the way. It was well designed.
Yeah, there's a whole lot going on between the video and the pyro and the lights and the stage itself and moving parts, and yeah, what a fucking insanely amazing crew.
Here's the difficult question of the day. Do you have a preference between the Appetite songs when you play them and the new songs? So I know you've put in your own guitar parts and your own heart and soul in the new songs, but at the same time, when that crowd hears Paradise City and you get that roar, that's got to be energizing. So
oh, sure, yeah. I mean, when the crowd is happy, I'm happy.
Right.
It's for them.
Okay.
So that's a big part of it, but then the part that's for me is like, all right, I get to play my own little guitar part, and there's something self-indulgently gratifying about just playing your own guitar part. So
do you have a
little
preference?
bit of both. I mean, in the end, I just love to play, and I really don't think about it that much. Like, when you're on the stage and you're playing, it doesn't even matter what you're playing. You're just glad, you're happy to be there.
Okay, so
and you just feel like you're just having a good time at some big retard party.
Okay,
we need to edit that out.
yeah, I'll take that part out. I'm just interested in that because, there are a lot of band guys like Sammy Hagar and other people who said, oh, I'm not going to sing the Dave songs, and then now David Lee Roth, I'm not singing the Sammy songs, and you get that all the time, and you go, well, why? I mean, if you're in the band did that at some point.
Yeah, I mean, don't deny the audience, what they love, and you can't change the past. So why what's the word? Not rebel against it, but why
be an ass about it, basically.
Why challenge and compete or pick a fight with the unchangeable past? It's like, it's there, and there's something good in it that you can derive and bring to others, so fucking do it.
But by playing the old songs, have you taken anything out of them? And by that I mean, have you learned, was there a technique that either Izzy or Slash was doing that you went, wow, that's kind of cool, and has it made you a better player in any way, or is it just, these are the songs, I learned them, end of story? I
think just playing in itself, you always become a better player.
Okay.
I think that I became I became a better GNR player, that's for shit sure.
Right.
I probably became a worse player for my own shit, but for GNR, just feeling out what they did, and at first I would just make up my own shit and just play whatever over the